Humans rejected by the Galactic Council create the ultimate empire. The first human faster-than-light ship moved through the dark space between stars like a quiet spark. The ship was called Horizon Star, and inside it were scientists, pilots, and diplomats who carried the hope of Earth. For many years, humans had watched the sky and wondered if they were alone. Now they finally had the answer. John Carter stood near the main observation window. He was not a soldier, but he had a calm and steady voice, which was why he had been chosen as one of the first human representatives. Beside him stood Emma Brooks, a skilled diplomat known for her patience and clear thinking. Outside the window, a massive structure slowly came into view. It was larger than anything humans had ever built. The Galactic Council station floated between several stars, powered by glowing rings of energy. Hundreds of ships moved around it, each with different shapes and colors. Some ships looked smooth like glass, while others looked like moving metal cities. Emma watched carefully. "This is it," she said quietly. "First contact with the galaxy," John nodded. He felt excitement but also pressure. Humanity had only recently learned faster-than-light travel. They were new, they were unknown, and today they would be judged. The Horizon Star received docking instructions from an automated signal. The language had already been translated using shared mathematical patterns. The ship slowly entered a large docking tunnel filled with soft blue light. Inside the station, gravity felt smooth and natural. The human team stepped out and followed small floating guide drones through wide silver halls. Many alien beings were already present. Some were tall and thin with glowing eyes. Others were short with layered armor-like skin. A few moved using floating devices instead of legs. Emma kept her expression calm, though everything felt overwhelming. John noticed that many aliens were studying the humans carefully. Some looked curious, others looked uncertain. After several minutes, the humans were guided into the council chamber. The room was enormous and circular. Rows of floating platforms formed a wide ring around the center floor. Each platform held a different alien delegate. Soft lights filled the chamber, and a gentle hum echoed through the air. A translator device activated automatically near the human group. A tall alien with silver skin spoke first. "Welcome, species of planet Earth. You stand before the Galactic Council." Emma stepped forward. "Thank you. We are honored to be here." The translator repeated her words in many layered tones. John glanced around. There were more than 30 species present. This was not just a meeting. This was a test. One of the council members, a wide-bodied alien with glowing markings across its skin, spoke next. "Your species achieved faster-than-light travel quickly compared to many others. Explain your development." Emma gave a calm smile and began. She spoke about Earth's scientific progress. She explained how humans had built space stations, explored their solar system, and worked together across many nations to solve complex problems. John then presented visual data showing human engineering systems, energy designs, and adaptive construction methods. The chamber remained quiet while the data displayed. Some delegates leaned closer, others did not react. After the presentation ended, a new voice spoke. This voice sounded sharper. "Your records show many wars." The chamber lights shifted slightly. John already expected this question. He answered carefully. "Yes, humanity has faced many conflicts, but we have also learned from them. We continue to improve cooperation and diplomacy." Another alien spoke immediately. "Your species shows emotional instability." Rapid technological growth combined with conflict history creates risk. Emma remained calm. "We understand your concern, but our progress also shows our ability to change." For several minutes, the council asked more questions. They asked about human governments. They asked about military systems. They asked about artificial intelligence. They asked about resource usage. Emma and John answered each question clearly. Still, the atmosphere in the chamber slowly became colder. Some council members began sharing private signals across their platforms. John noticed the pattern. They were already forming opinions. After the questioning ended, the chamber lights dimmed slightly. The silver-skinned delegate spoke again. "The council will review humanity's status." The human group was guided out of the chamber into a waiting hall. The doors closed behind them. Emma released a slow breath. "That was harder than I expected," John nodded. "They are cautious." Hours passed. The waiting hall remained quiet. Soft lights glowed along the walls while alien envoys moved in distant corridors. Lucas Grant, one of the lead human engineers, paced slowly across the room. "They only focused on our wars," he said. "They barely asked about our technology." Olivia Turner sat at a console reviewing the shared council data. "They are not just judging our machines," she said. "They are judging our behavior." Emma understood this. The council was old, far older than human civilization. To them, humanity probably looked unpredictable. After several more hours, a guide drone returned. "The council decision is ready." The human team followed the drone back into the chamber. This time, the atmosphere felt heavier. The council platforms glowed with soft red light. John sensed that something was wrong. The silver-skinned delegate spoke. "Species of Earth, the Galactic Council has completed its evaluation." Emma stood straight. John focused on the speaker. "Humanity demonstrates creativity and rapid adaptation. However, your species also demonstrates unstable behavioral patterns and high conflict history." The chamber became very quiet. "Due to these factors, humanity is not approved for full council membership." Emma felt the words hit like sudden cold. The delegate continued. "Until further evaluation cycles, humanity will have limited access to advanced trade networks and restricted technological exchange." Lucas looked shocked. Olivia lowered her eyes. John kept his expression controlled, but inside he felt frustration building. Emma spoke carefully. "May we ask what improvements are required for future approval?" Another delegate answered. "Time." The single word echoed through the chamber. No detailed instructions, no clear path, just time. The meeting ended shortly after. The human group was escorted back to their ship. No celebration, no partnership, only quiet departure. When the Horizon Star undocked from the council station, the massive structure slowly faded into the distance. Inside the command room, the mood was heavy. No one spoke for several minutes. Finally, Lucas broke the silence. "They rejected us." John looked forward. "Yes." Emma sat at the central console reviewing the official council message. "Restricted trade routes, limited technology sharing, observational status." Olivia crossed her arms. "They don't trust us." The ship continued its long journey back toward Earth. During the trip, the human team prepared full reports. Every detail of the council meeting was recorded. When the Horizon Star finally returned to the solar system, the news spread quickly across the planet. Global networks broadcast the results. The reactions were immediate. Some people felt angry, some felt disappointed, some felt determined. World leaders gathered for an emergency summit. The meeting took place in a large orbital station above Earth, so representatives from many nations could attend quickly. John and Emma presented the council's decision. The room filled with quiet discussion. One leader asked the most direct question. "What happens now?" Emma answered honestly. "The council expects us to wait." Lucas spoke next. "Waiting will not help us grow." Olivia added calm but strong words. "They already believe we are unstable. If we stop progressing, that belief will never change." The discussion continued for hours. Some leaders suggested working harder to earn council approval. Others suggested building independent systems. Finally, a shared idea began to form. Humanity could not depend on the council. Humanity needed to depend on itself. Over the next few months, new programs began across the solar system. Research stations expanded around the Moon and Mars. Asteroid mining operations increased. New shipyards were planned in orbit around Earth. Lucas Grant became one of the lead engineers for a new modular ship design project. His idea was simple but powerful. Human ships would be built in sections so they could upgrade systems without returning to major ports. Olivia Turner led a research group focused on advanced artificial intelligence support systems. Her goal was not to replace human decisions, but to support them. She believed human creativity was their greatest strength. Emma Brooks continued working with diplomatic teams, but her focus changed. Instead of waiting for council approval, she began opening communication with smaller independent alien groups located near human exploration paths. John Carter joined the Interstellar Development Council, a new organization formed to guide humanity's expansion beyond Earth. The organization had one clear principle: self-reliance. Years began to pass. Human technology improved faster than before. Without council restrictions on design structure, human engineers experimented freely. Some projects failed. Others succeeded in surprising ways. New engine systems reduced travel time between colonies. Energy shields became more efficient. Automated construction systems allowed small crews to build large stations. Human exploration ships began traveling beyond the safe routes used by the Council. These regions were considered dangerous because of unstable stars and unpredictable space phenomena. But humans adapted. When one colony faced solar radiation storms, engineers redesigned shield layers. When another colony experienced gravity shifts, new stabilizer systems were created. Every problem became a lesson. Every lesson became progress. Still, not everything was easy. Some early colonies struggled with limited supplies. Long-distance communication delays caused coordination problems, and rumors spread that unknown pirate groups operated in distant sectors. But instead of stopping, humanity continued moving forward. One evening, John stood again near a large observation window, this time aboard a growing orbital station above Mars. Emma joined him. Below them, construction ships moved around the station like small lights. "Do you ever think about that day?" Emma asked. John nodded. "The council chamber," Emma smiled slightly. "I remember how small we felt." John looked at the expanding shipyards. "We are not small anymore." Emma followed his gaze. New ships were being assembled, larger, stronger, more advanced than the first Horizon star. "Do you think they are watching us?" she asked. John answered calmly. "Yes." Emma crossed her arms. "Good." The station lights reflected across the window glass while distant engines glowed against the darkness. Humanity had been rejected, but rejection had not stopped them. It had changed them, and the future was only beginning. Humanity's expansion began in silence, but it was fast. From orbit around Earth, colonies were established on the Moon, Mars, and the asteroid belt. Massive shipyards were built, and humans started building their first fleet designed to travel further than any previous ship. These ships were not just strong, they were smart. Each one could adapt during travel, using modular designs to upgrade without returning to a base. Ethan Cole led the ship design project. He was a quiet man with bright ideas and hands that never stopped moving. He studied alien designs captured from distant sensors and combined them with human creativity. Unlike the Council, which relied on rigid structures, Ethan knew humans could change faster than anyone else. He believed that the strength of humanity was not just machines or numbers, it was their imagination. Grace Mitchell worked with Ethan. She was one of the leading artificial intelligence programmers. She wanted to create systems that could think alongside humans, not replace them. The AI she built could predict problems, suggest solutions, and react instantly to unexpected situations. It learned from every human mistake, every decision, and every success. With Grace's system on board, ships could survive where others would fail. The first fleet was small. Only a dozen ships left the solar system, but each carried human hopes. John Carter and Emma Brooks watched from Earth orbit as the fleet departed. Their faces were calm, but inside, a storm of emotions stirred. This was not just exploration, it was proof that humanity could survive without the Council. The fleet traveled to the edge of known space. There they found planets the Council had ignored, worlds considered too harsh, too dangerous, or too unstable. These planets had violent storms, toxic atmospheres, or shifting magnetic fields. Yet humanity saw opportunity. Engineers like Lucas Grant and Olivia Turner worked quickly, building domes, filters, and shields to protect life. Humans did not just adapt, they thrived. On one planet called Arden by the fleet, storms moved unpredictably. No map could predict them. Most species would have abandoned the world, but humans built floating habitats that could move with the storms. Ethan adjusted engines and sensors, while Grace's AI predicted the strongest winds. Slowly, the colony became stable, and resources were harvested. The Council would never have risked such a place, but humans saw gold in challenges. As colonies grew, news reached small alien civilizations. Some were curious, some wary. These civilizations had avoided the Council's direct control and had no reason to fear humans. Hannah Scott, a young diplomat, was sent to communicate with them. She was calm, patient, and understood how to listen. Soon, small trade networks began. Humans exchanged knowledge and tools for rare resources. Slowly, humans built influence outside Council territories. Pirate attacks became a problem. Groups of raiders tried to capture human colonies or destroy supply ships. Many aliens had given up on protecting these regions, but humans refused to surrender. Daniel Price, a former military officer, organized the first interstellar defense network. He trained humans to fight using unexpected tactics, combining intelligence, speed, and bravery. Pirates learned quickly that human fleets were unpredictable, and the attacks decreased. Human fleets grew stronger. Modular designs allowed ships to change shape, weapons, or engines during missions. One day, a fleet would face asteroid storms. The next day, it might encounter hostile wildlife or energy storms. Each problem was solved with human creativity. Every failure became a lesson. Grace's AI systems adapted with them, making human strategies faster than any council fleet. Humans learned to rely on themselves and each other, not rules or old traditions. Back on Earth, politics had changed. Leaders once worried about council approval now focused on human survival and strength. Scientists were honored, and engineers were celebrated. New educational programs emphasized space travel, engineering, and adaptive thinking. Children learned from the successes and mistakes of the First Fleet. Humanity had become its own teacher. Ethan Cole and Grace Mitchell worked together daily, building faster engines and stronger shields. One evening, as the red sun set on Mars, Ethan spoke quietly to Grace. "Do you think we can really become the strongest?" he asked. Grace smiled slightly. "Not the strongest, just the fastest at learning. That is enough." John Carter monitored multiple colonies at once. He watched as engineers built new domes on Arden, as miners extracted rare metals from asteroids, and as diplomats met alien leaders. Humanity was growing, spreading, and learning. The Council had rejected them, but rejection had made them better. Each new colony faced challenges. On one planet, sudden magnetic storms disrupted communication. Olivia Turner quickly modified AI protocols to allow ships to navigate without signals. On another world, toxic gases forced engineers to develop new filtration systems in days instead of months. Human crews worked together, learning quickly and sharing knowledge. Failure was temporary, adaptation was permanent. The small alien civilizations began to respect humans. They saw that humans did not fear danger. They saw that humans could survive in places where others would fail. Slowly, alliances formed. These civilizations provided knowledge, trade, and support. Humans were building a network without council permission, proving that independence could be stronger than dependence. One day, news came of a dangerous region called the Shiver Zone. Council reports warned all species to avoid it. Alien traders said no one could survive there. Ethan and Lucas studied the reports carefully. "This could be our biggest challenge," Lucas said. Grace's AI scanned the region. "Probability of success low but possible with modifications." The fleet prepared. New engines were added, shields were reinforced. Crew members trained longer than ever before. John Carter gave the order and the ships left Earth orbit once again. They moved toward the Shiver Zone unafraid. Inside the fleet, tension was high. Storms raged unpredictably and navigation errors could be deadly. Yet humans worked together, adapting to every new problem. Ethan modified engines in real time, Grace's AI predicted turbulence, and crews adjusted instantly. After weeks of dangerous travel, they reached stable grounds and discovered resources unknown to any other species. It was a triumph. The victory spread across human colonies. Morale increased. People realized humanity could survive and thrive without council help. This was not just exploration, it was a declaration. Humans were not weak, and they would not follow rules they had not agreed to. Hannah Scott continued working with alien civilizations. She negotiated for technology and advice, always emphasizing mutual benefit. Slowly, these small alliances began to strengthen. Humans learned new farming methods, energy sources, and defensive strategies. Council species had ignored these regions for centuries, but humans turned them into thriving worlds. Back on Earth, people watched news from colonies and fleets. They saw ships navigating storms, floating habitats surviving disasters, and humans negotiating with aliens. For the first time, many realized the Council's rejection was not the end, it was the beginning. Humanity's independence was turning into power. Daniel Price prepared new defense strategies. He trained ships to respond to threats faster than the Council's fleets. Humans practiced moving, adapting, and fighting in ways no rigid army could match. Each fleet became smarter, faster, and more resilient. Humans combined engineering skill, strategic planning, and creativity into one unstoppable force. New technology spread quickly. Modular ships allowed fast upgrades. AI systems made decisions in milliseconds. Colonies became self-sufficient, able to survive even if cut off from other human worlds. Humans no longer waited for council approval. Humans had learned to rely only on themselves. In the quiet hours of space, John Carter often walked the observation deck of orbiting stations. He looked at ships leaving for distant worlds. Emma Brooks joined him sometimes, watching fleets sail past glowing stars. "We are changing the galaxy," Emma said quietly. John nodded. "Yes, slowly, one step at a time." Grace Mitchell and Ethan Cole sometimes joined them, discussing new improvements, engines, and AI upgrades. Lucas Grant and Olivia Turner worked tirelessly on resource extraction and colony defenses. Together, they created a system where every problem had a solution and every mistake taught a lesson. As human fleets expanded, council species began noticing. Some were curious, some were worried. Small messages arrived from aliens who had seen humans survive storms, defeat raiders, and establish thriving colonies. Rumors spread that humanity was different, not weak, not reckless, but unstoppable in their ability to adapt and learn. Humanity had been rejected, yes. But rejection had taught them unity, creativity, and resilience. Colonies were not just survival posts, they were classrooms, workshops, and laboratories. Every obstacle became an opportunity. Every danger became a lesson. Every small victory strengthened human confidence. As the years passed, humans began planning for something larger. Fleets were no longer just for exploration, they were preparation. Training exercises simulated council battles, unpredictable attacks, and extreme space phenomena. Humans were learning to think like no other species. They were learning to become independent, strong, and clever. Small alien civilizations began to ask for human advice, technology, and protection. Humans had become a force of stability and opportunity. Those who had ignored them now depended on them. Humans had taken a position the Council would never have imagined, a growing, independent power in space. On the command deck of the largest fleet, John Carter watched the stars. Emma Brooks stood beside him. Together, they watched humanity move beyond old limitations. "They may never accept us," Emma said softly. John smiled faintly. "We don't need them, we will create our own path." In space, humans continued to expand, explore, and innovate. Storms were no longer obstacles, they were tests. Dangers were no longer threats, they were challenges. And with each step, humanity proved one simple truth: rejection did not mean failure, it meant opportunity. Humanity's rise had begun, and the galaxy had yet to see their true strength. Humanity had grown stronger and smarter. The colonies spread across many star systems. Ships traveled farther than ever before. Humans no longer feared danger, they planned for it. With every step, they became faster at learning and adapting. The Galactic Council had ignored them, but the humans did not need their approval anymore. They had learned to rely on themselves. Daniel Price worked with fleet commanders to organize defenses across human-controlled space. He created networks of patrol ships, satellite sensors, and quick-response fleets. Pirates and hostile creatures had tested human borders before, but now humans were ready. Each fleet was connected to others, and they shared information instantly. Humans could see a threat before it even appeared. John Carter and Emma Brooks traveled between colonies, overseeing construction and strategy. John focused on fleet coordination, while Emma built alliances with alien civilizations near human space. These civilizations had small fleets or resources, but they valued humans' protection. Emma treated them as equals, not subjects, which earned loyalty and trust. New ships were being built in orbit around distant planets. Ethan Cole and Lucas Grant led engineers to create ships with stronger shields, faster engines, and advanced weapons. Grace Mitchell's AI helped crews predict enemy moves, energy surges, and cosmic hazards. Humans could adapt faster than any Council fleet. They used unconventional tactics, confusing enemies who relied on predictable patterns. One day, a small fleet reported a threat. A group of Council-aligned raiders attacked a remote colony on a desert planet. The raiders had superior firepower, but humans had strategy. Daniel Price ordered a surprise maneuver. Some ships hid in asteroid fields while others feigned a retreat. Grace's AI calculated every angle. When the raiders moved in, humans surrounded them from unexpected directions. The raiders were defeated without significant human loss. The news spread quickly across human space. Humans had shown they could defend themselves against better-armed enemies. Colonies became safer and morale increased. Young engineers and pilots studied the battle to learn tactics. Humanity was not just surviving, it was growing stronger with every challenge. Hannah Scott continued building alliances. She met with alien leaders, listened to their problems, and offered solutions. She learned that many civilizations feared the Council's control. Humans offered freedom and choice instead of rules. Slowly, small civilizations joined the human network, giving resources, information, and support. Humans were forming a coalition stronger than most Council observers had expected. Back on Earth, scientists and engineers worked on long-term projects. They built ships that could change shape in battle, upgrade energy systems mid-flight, and even repair themselves automatically. Lucas Grant oversaw construction yards where ships were built faster than ever. Ethan Cole tested new engines that could double travel speed without losing safety. Grace Mitchell improved AI so human fleets could coordinate without delays. John Carter led a council of human fleet commanders. They met weekly to discuss strategy, expansion, and defense. One meeting began with a message from a distant colony. "We found a sector with high resources," a young officer reported. "It is dangerous, but it could support many colonies." Daniel Price looked at the map. "The Council has ignored this area for centuries." "No species lives here permanently," John nodded. "Then we will make it ours, prepare a fleet and send scouts. We move fast and we adapt faster." The fleet left immediately. Grace's AI predicted possible storms, radiation surges, and pirate ambushes. Human crews adjusted, repaired, and reinforced their ships in real time. After weeks of travel, they reached the sector. The planet was harsh, but humans built domes, extractors, and defenses. It became a thriving colony, proof of human determination. As humans expanded, they began to formalize their growing network. They created the first Human Empire Council. John Carter was its first leader, Emma Brooks was the chief diplomat, Daniel Price commanded the fleets, and Ethan Cole, Lucas Grant, and Grace Mitchell led research and engineering. Each member focused on their strengths. Every decision was made quickly but carefully. Humans had learned that rigid bureaucracy slowed growth. Adaptability was their real power. Pirates, rogue fleets, and hostile species tested human borders often. In one battle, a fleet of Council-aligned ships tried to capture a human outpost. Humans used speed, surprise, and intelligence. Some ships drew the enemy into asteroid fields, while others attacked from above and behind. Grace's AI suggested maneuvers faster than humans could calculate alone. The outposts survived, and enemy ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. Humans had created strategies no other species could predict. New colonies continued to form. Hannah Scott's diplomacy brought small alien species into the human network. These civilizations shared technology humans could not build yet. In return, humans provided protection, trade, and knowledge. Human influence spread without war. Humans were building an empire based on strength, creativity, and cooperation. As the empire grew, John Carter and Emma Brooks realized something important. Humans were no longer just explorers, they were leaders. Humans had learned to survive anywhere, adapt to any problem, and think faster than their enemies. Humans had turned rejection by the Council into power. In one council meeting aboard a human command station, John addressed leaders from distant colonies. "We are strong because we adapt. We are fast because we learn. The Council rejected us, but they cannot stop us. We will protect our people and our allies. We will grow stronger every day." Emma added, "Our allies respect us because we respect them. Our empire will not force obedience. We offer safety, cooperation, and opportunity. That is why we will succeed." Daniel Price added, "Our fleets are ready. Every threat will be met with strategy, courage, and intelligence. No enemy can surprise us for long." Hannah Scott finished, "And our diplomacy will grow. Many small civilizations are joining us, seeing that humanity is different. We do not take orders, we build together." The human leaders left the meeting feeling confident. Their empire was young, but it was already powerful. The Council might have rejected them, but humans had built strength, allies, and fleets. They had proven their abilities with each challenge. Ethan Cole and Lucas Grant tested new ships capable of traveling faster and carrying more supplies. Grace Mitchell improved AI systems so that hundreds of ships could coordinate at once. Humans could fight, adapt, and expand in ways the Council could not predict. Every colony had engineers, pilots, and leaders who understood the human way, adapt quickly, learn from mistakes, and never give up. Pirates began to realize human fleets were not easy targets. News spread across nearby regions that humans were unpredictable, fast, and clever. No other species could fight like them. Even Council fleets, which relied on numbers and strict formation, found human tactics confusing. Humans combined intelligence, technology, and creativity in ways no other species had mastered. One day, a fleet reported a new threat in a distant sector. A Council-aligned species tried to claim a resource-rich planet. Human commanders moved quickly. Grace's AI predicted possible attack routes. John Carter coordinated ships in multiple directions. Daniel Price prepared defensive and offensive strategies. The fleet surrounded the enemy ships in unexpected ways. Humans captured the planet peacefully, showing strength without unnecessary violence. It was a lesson in efficiency, strategy, and control. As colonies multiplied, humans began teaching their allies. They shared engineering techniques, AI systems, and adaptive strategies. These small civilizations gained new power and independence. In return, humans gained loyalty and intelligence networks across distant regions. Human influence grew quietly but powerfully. On Earth, new generations grew up knowing only this way. Humans could survive anywhere, fight any threat, and grow stronger with each challenge. Children studied previous fleet missions, learned engineering and strategy, and dreamed of joining the next expansion. Humanity's culture was now about adaptation, intelligence, and resilience. One evening, John Carter stood on the observation deck of a large orbital station. Emma Brooks joined him, watching fleets leave for distant colonies. The lights of new stations and ships glowed against the dark sky. "We are building more than ships," Emma said. "We are building an empire," John nodded. "Not the kind the Council expected, a new kind, one that adapts, grows, and survives." Daniel Price joined them, adding, "Every fleet, every colony, every alliance strengthens us. We are ready for anything." Grace Mitchell and Ethan Cole arrived next, showing plans for faster engines and new defense systems. Lucas Grant demonstrated the construction of modular stations that could upgrade themselves automatically. The team worked together, thinking, planning, and adapting. Their empire was not built on fear or rigid rules. It was built on human strength and intelligence. Rumors began to reach Council species that humans were forming the ultimate empire. They had fleets that could adapt, colonies that could survive anywhere, and alliances that strengthened them. Humans were no longer just rejected, they were feared and respected for their speed, creativity, and resilience. John Carter smiled as he watched the stars. "We were rejected, yes, but that rejection made us stronger," Emma nodded. "We have allies, fleets, and colonies. We will grow, and one day the Council will see the power they refused," Daniel Price added quietly, "but we will not wait for them. We will keep growing on our own terms." Humans had turned every obstacle into an opportunity. Every danger became a lesson. Every small victory became strength. Rejection had become the seed of power. The empire was young, but it was already unstoppable. The fleets continued to expand into unknown space. New colonies formed, trained, and adapted. Alliances strengthened. Humans used intelligence, speed, and courage to protect their people and allies. Each challenge taught a lesson, and each lesson made them stronger. Humanity's influence now stretched across regions the Council had ignored. Humans had become the species no one expected, and they were far from finished. The galaxy began to notice the human empire. Stories of their fleets, colonies, and strategies spread. Small species told tales of humans surviving storms, defeating raiders, and building colonies in impossible places. Humans were no longer just explorers. They were a force of strength, learning, and resilience. The ultimate empire was forming one step at a time, fueled by intelligence, creativity, and the desire never to be rejected again. John Carter, Emma Brooks, Daniel Price, Ethan Cole, Lucas Grant, Grace Mitchell, and Hannah Scott watched as humans reached further into the galaxy. Fleets moved faster, colonies grew stronger, and humans continued to adapt. The Council might have rejected them, but humans had created something the Council had never imagined: an empire built on speed, intelligence, and unbreakable resilience. Humans had learned the ultimate lesson: rejection could be turned into strength. Every problem was a chance to grow. Every danger was a challenge to overcome. Every alliance was a building block for the future. The ultimate empire was no longer a dream. It was reality, and it would continue to grow beyond any limit. Humanity had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined. The colonies stretched across hundreds of star systems. Fleets moved like swarms of silver arrows, each ship faster, stronger, and smarter than before. Humans had learned to survive anywhere, fight any enemy, and solve problems faster than any other species. The Galactic Council had rejected them long ago, but now humans did not need approval. They had created the ultimate empire. John Carter stood on the command deck of the flagship Horizon Dawn. The stars outside glowed faintly, and human fleets moved in formation across the dark space. Emma Brooks joined him, her eyes scanning the navigation displays. "We have never been stronger," she said quietly. "Our colonies, fleets, and allies are everywhere." John nodded. "Yes. And soon the Council will see that rejecting us was a mistake." Daniel Price walked in, holding reports from the outer colonies. "The Council fleets are struggling against unknown threats in the far sectors. They are slow to react. Our intelligence shows they cannot adapt like we can." John looked at the fleet schematics. "Then it is time. We will offer help, but on our terms." Emma smiled. "We will show them the strength of humanity, not beg for acceptance." Grace Mitchell and Ethan Cole worked on the latest upgrades for the fleets. Grace's AI predicted the best strategies for battle, defense, and resource management. Ethan had redesigned engines that allowed ships to jump between systems faster than anyone had thought possible. Lucas Grant oversaw the construction of new orbital stations capable of supporting entire fleets and colonies for years without resupply. Humanity's preparation was complete. Human scouts reported new anomalies beyond Council space: strange energy surges, unstable stars, and massive fleets of unknown origin. Council species panicked, sending messages for help. John Carter decided to move immediately. The human fleet would respond, not for the Council, but to protect human space and their allies. The fleet entered the contested space. Sensors picked up multiple threats. The unknown enemy attacked quickly, but human ships were ready. Grace's AI predicted attack patterns, while Daniel Price coordinated defensive and offensive maneuvers. Fleets moved in ways no other species had thought possible. Humans struck, avoided, adapted, and countered. In a matter of hours, the enemy was driven back. Human ships had survived without heavy losses. The victory proved their strategy, skill, and technology. Council species were shocked. Their fleets struggled, while humans dominated with speed, intelligence, and adaptability. Messages reached the Council chambers. Humans had defeated threats that they themselves could not handle. For the first time, the Council realized their error. They had ignored humanity, and now humans were unstoppable. Emma Brooks led diplomatic teams to contact Council representatives. She was calm, respectful, but firm. "We offer assistance," she said, "but we act on behalf of humanity and our allies, not to follow your orders." Some Council delegates were angry, others were afraid. The humans did not bow, but they did not provoke unnecessary conflict. They were confident, capable, and independent. John Carter's reputation spread: a leader who could coordinate fleets, solve problems, and win battles without fear. Daniel Price had trained fleets to anticipate every threat. Grace Mitchell's AI systems guided ships faster than thought possible. Ethan Cole and Lucas Grant had built ships and stations that no Council fleet could match. Humanity had created an empire built on speed, intelligence, and adaptation. In one Council meeting, representatives demanded answers. The silver-skinned delegates spoke first. "Humanity, why do you interfere? We offered you membership, and you refused to join our rules. Now you act as if you are equals." Emma stepped forward. "We were rejected. We did not follow your rules, yet we survived. We grew. We learned. We now protect not only ourselves, but those who cannot protect themselves. We do not ask for approval. We act for survival, intelligence, and cooperation." John added, "We will cooperate when it benefits others, but we do not bend to fear or outdated traditions. We adapt, we learn, and we protect." The galaxy needs strength, not weakness. Council delegates exchanged nervous glances. Reports showed human fleets defeating threats faster than any council ship could respond. Colonies were thriving. Small alien civilizations were loyal to humanity. Humanity's empire had grown beyond anything the council had imagined. One council member spoke finally. "Your species has proven skill, intelligence, and strength. We were wrong to reject you." Emma replied calmly, "We do not seek praise. We seek stability and security for ourselves and our allies. The council may recognize this, but it will not change our independence." John Carter looked at the council representatives. "We will continue to grow, defend our space, and protect our allies. The galaxy will see that humanity cannot be ignored." While diplomacy continued, humans continued their expansion. New colonies formed in unexplored systems. Engineers built floating habitats, modular ships, and powerful stations. Fleets trained constantly, anticipating threats from pirates, council species, or unknown enemies. Humans never stopped learning. Every failure became a lesson, every danger became preparation, and every success strengthened the empire. Small alien civilizations became fully integrated into human networks. They shared technology, resources, and intelligence. Humans trained them in adaptive strategies, engineering, and fleet coordination. These civilizations flourished alongside humans, forming a coalition that was stronger than most council fleets. Humans were not ruling, they were leading by example, teaching others to survive, adapt, and thrive. In one distant sector, scouts reported an approaching council fleet. The humans prepared, but instead of attacking, John Carter ordered a demonstration. Human ships moved flawlessly, coordinated by Grace's AI, and executed maneuvers that confused and awed the council ships. They displayed strength without violence. The council delegates realized that humans had become more capable than any council fleet. Humanity was not aggressive, they were effective, intelligent, and adaptive. Emma Brooks negotiated a formal agreement. Humans would provide assistance against threats, share intelligence, and protect allied civilizations. In return, humans would remain independent. The council was forced to accept. Humanity was now officially recognized as a power no council member could ignore. Humans did not bow, they stood as equals. Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet but proud. Humanity had survived rejection, built an empire, and proven strength in every aspect. Young generations trained in space engineering, fleet tactics, and diplomacy. Humans had learned that rejection was not failure. It was a challenge to become stronger. They had created the ultimate empire through adaptation, intelligence, and cooperation. John Carter, Emma Brooks, Daniel Price, Grace Mitchell, Ethan Cole, and Lucas Grant gathered on a large observation deck. The stars glowed outside. Fleets moved across the galaxy like silver streams. "We are more than humans," Emma said softly. "We are a force that others respect and rely on." John nodded. "We were rejected, but now we lead, we protect, we teach, and we grow. Our empire is strong because we adapt, not because we obey." Daniel Price added, "Our fleets are ready, our colonies are safe, our allies are loyal. Nothing can stop us if we continue to learn." Grace Mitchell smiled. "And we will continue to improve." Every system, every fleet, every colony grows stronger with every lesson. Ethan Cole added, "We will build faster ships, stronger defenses, and smarter technology. Nothing will slow humanity." Lucas Grant finished, "And our colonies will continue to thrive, teaching new generations to survive, adapt, and lead. Humanity will never stop growing." As the human fleets moved across the galaxy, small alien civilizations watched and learned. Council species observed, shocked, and respectful. Humans had created the ultimate empire, not through fear, not through war, but through intelligence, creativity, and resilience. They adapted faster than anyone, learned from every challenge, and built alliances that made them stronger every day. In every colony, humans trained young engineers, pilots, and leaders. They studied previous battles, learned new strategies, and prepared for challenges ahead. Humans understood one truth: the galaxy was not static. Threats would come, but adaptation and intelligence would always win. One day, John Carter looked at the stars from the flagship Horizon Dawn. Emma Brooks joined him. The fleet stretched across many sectors. Colonies shone like jewels across the darkness. "Do you think the council regrets rejecting us?" Emma asked quietly. John smiled faintly. Maybe, but it does not matter. We learned, we grew, and we survived. That is all that counts. Daniel Price joined them, holding a report of fleet exercises. Every challenge we face only makes us stronger. Humans are ready for anything. Grace Mitchell and Ethan Cole arrived next, showing new ship designs and AI upgrades. Lucas Grant presented plans for additional colonies and construction systems. Every member worked together, thinking, planning, and adapting. The Empire was not built on fear or control. It was built on human strength, creativity, and intelligence. Rumors of human power spread across the galaxy. Stories told of fleets that survived storms, colonies that thrived in impossible places, and humans who taught others to adapt. The galaxy now knew that humanity could not be ignored. Humans were leaders, protectors, and teachers. They were a force shaped by rejection, strengthened by survival, and guided by intelligence. John Carter looked at the stars again. "We were rejected," he said, "but we used that rejection to grow. The galaxy knows our power now, and we will continue to grow, expand, and protect." "This is only the beginning," Emma Brooks nodded. "Our empire is built not on fear or rules, but on adaptation, learning, and cooperation. That is why we will last," Daniel Price added quietly, "and no one, not even the Council, can stop us now." Humanity had created the ultimate empire. Fleets moved, colonies thrived, and alliances strengthened. The galaxy had seen their strength, and humanity had proven one simple truth: rejection could be turned into power. Every danger became a lesson, every challenge became a chance, and every step forward strengthened the empire. The future was in human hands, and the galaxy had never seen a force like this before. The ultimate empire was no longer a dream. It was reality. And humanity was ready to continue its journey across the stars, adapting, learning, and leading the galaxy into a new age.